If you love rag rugs, then you will love today's video. I am going to show you how you can use scrap fabric to make a rug as little, wide, or as long as you want, and you don't need a loom. Today I am going to take you into a new world of macrame. We are going to show you how you can take scrap fabric and macrame a rug. This is an easy process. You don't have to be an experienced person with macrame, so don't let that word scare you. It's basically just a series of one knot. It's just a square knot, but I'm going to show you how you can put it together to make a rag rug without a loom. Before I get started on the specifics of the rug, there's a couple things that we need to know first. You're going to have to join a ton of fabric strips together. So I cut the strips in about 1.5 inches wide, and we need to join them together. So lay them on top of each other with the long way going the same direction. Fold it over about 3/4 inch. Put a snip in the end. Now you lay them on end for end and match up that snip. Pull the tail through the back side, and now you have your knot joined. To make the rug, you're going to be doing the same square knot over and over. And it's pretty obvious when you do it on macrame, but it looks a little different on fabric. So I am going to just do a small little prototype before I show you how to manage the rug portion. We're just going to do this with scrap fabric to get started so you can get a better idea. I have a dowel rod here. Even in the real project, your dowel rod is going to be removed, so it doesn't matter what size dowel rod. I'm using the rack that Ross built me, and we have a video in the link down below of how you can make this macrame workstation. So to get started, I have 4 strips of fabric, and I'm just going to fold them in half, and you'll be doing this with the real deal as well, but I want to just show you in a more manageable size. So you just bring it up from the back of your rod and bring your tails through your fold. And so we're going to do that with all 4. So finding the center middle of it, bring it up behind the rod, and bring your tails through the loop. To do a square knot, there's 2 steps that create the complete knot. You always start with your left strand on this example. You can start with your right, but for my pattern, I'm always going to start with the left. So the left comes over, the right comes over this piece here, but under the 2 and back through that hole. So it's over, over, under, through. So then you pull it tight. Now you have to go with the right side and do the same. But if you're like me, you're going to get distracted and you can't remember, do I need to do left or right next? The book that I learned a ton of macrame tips from is called Macrame Project Book, and I have the link down below. I'd highly recommend the book, but it gave me this tip. The string that is going out the back of the knot is the next one that you have to do the motion with. So this one is going out the back, so now we go across the front, so that's over. This goes over that, goes behind, and through. And fabric is a little different. It's not stiff like the macrame cord, so you just fuss until your knot looks like you want it. So I'm going to slide this one back in and do the same thing. So we have our 4 strands. So I'm going to start on the left, over, over, under, and through. I'm going to tighten it up. This piece goes out the back of the knot, so it's the next one we do our motion with. So it's over, over, under, so you're going behind those 2, and through. So that's what we're going to do all the way across the top row on the rug, which I'll show you in a second. But the second portion, the second row, now we have our 8 cords. We are going to forget about these first two on the next row. I'm going to hang those out of the way. And you take 2 from this one and 2 from this one. So we're going to do the same square knot. Over, over, behind, and through. We do it with the opposite side now. We do it with the right one. Over, over, behind, and through. So that is how we are going to do the entire pattern. So now we're going to pretend that we don't have enough here for me to continue showing you across. So now we're on the 3rd row, and we just pick up the 2 that we had from row number 1. So we have those 2, and now we have these 2, and we just continue. So left was first, now the right. And there you go. So it's not much to look at right now, but I promise you, once you get going, it looks really cool. So I'm going to take away the practice one, and we're going to bring out the real deal so you can see how you can make your rug. So I made 30-foot long strips, joining them end for end like I showed you at the beginning. So I just wound together 30 balls, and then you can keep track of it a little bit cleaner that way. So on this one here, I need to find the center of this strip. Okay, here's the center. And I want to put it where there's not already a whole bunch of red. So I'm going to go up from the back, pull my tails through. Now you take each end and just wrap it around your fingers until there's about 3 or 4 feet there. Take a rubber band and just make a little tail. The fabric is ravelly enough that if you don't do this, you will be fighting each time that you try to make your knots if you leave them long. So I have one more ball that I'm going to put on there. So then we'll have 30 and we'll get started. Okay, for this rug, like I said, we have 30 strips, and they go over the pole. Depending on how wide you want to make it, you just need to make sure you have even number of strips. And the beauty of this is, once I get going and I go to the end of the fabric, if I want to keep on going, you just add more fabric strips. So truly, this can go as wide as you want it and as long as you want it. So this is going to end up being about 18 inches wide. I want fringe on the end, so cut a piece of cardboard, having the ridges, the corrugation, go up and down so that it doesn't collapse under pressure. And we're going to put our square knots up to the bottom of this cardboard, and that way we'll have a nice straight line, and then we'll just slide out the cardboard. So I'm going to begin on this side over here, and we have the 4 strips that we're going to start with, like I showed you in the prototype. I'm going to put this with the 2 strips on the outside and 2 strips on the back. So we're going to do our square knot. So we're going to go over with the left, over with the right, go behind. And I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It is a little cumbersome in the beginning because you're trying to hold cardboard, you're trying to pull up a rubber banded fabric, so just be patient. So that was left, it's going out the back of the knot, so that means this is the next one that goes. So we go over, behind, and through. So now we go to the next set of 4. We take the outside one and bring it on the front of the cardboard, and bring the back one, oops, wrong one. There we go. And we bring the outside one of the second strand to the front. So we have outside and outside are on the front, and on the back are the 2. So we're going to do our square knot. Again, balancing the cardboard, and bring your ball through. Pull it up. And now we go with the right. Go behind, pull it through the hole. Since my cardboard is long enough and I'm tired of it jumbling around, so I'm gonna reach over here and I'm going to put one stitch in this, one knot in this end so my cardboard quits dancing around. So bring forward the outside two cords and do a square knot over here. So I'm just gonna slide out the cardboard and feed those through and then slide it back in. So we have our first one has to come on top, the middle two go behind, and then on top. So then we have on top, the middle two behind, and on top. So just continue that across so that it's going to be a little bit easier and we're not going to be destroying our cardboard. And I did stop to think, I don't know if I ever said it, so maybe I did or didn't. This cardboard is 3 inches tall. So that's the gap that we're creating. Okay, I finished the first row. Once I got the cardboard in there, it was really a fast process. So I'm going to slide out the cardboard. And now what this represents is this will be your fringe. So when we're all done, we'll cut this fabric and this is your natural fringe line. So to do the second row, like I said in the prototype, now we have these are all disconnected. They're free hanging. We need to join them together. For this one here, we are going to ignore the outside two. So I'm just going to throw those up and over. And we are going to take the inside two from here. If you've done any macrame with cord, it does become pretty obvious which two are inside and which two are outside. On fabric, not so much. So don't worry about it. That's not what's making this a cool pattern. So I'm taking the 2 left ones from this one and the 2 right ones from that one, and I am going to do the same square knot. Now I take the right over and bring it behind and up and through. And now, let me pull these back forward. Now you have sort of a V, 2 stitches here and a stitch down in below. Okay, so I'm not going to use these 4 now. I'm just gonna see if that works. Clip it to that chain just so they're out of the way. They're heavy on the end, so throwing them up and over wasn't working as well. So now I have the left 2 and the right 2 of the next ones, and going to make a square knot. It's time for this one to go over the front. Then this one finishes off the knot. Okay, let's unclip. So now we have 3 stitches and 2 stitches. So I'm going to continue across here, but while I have the camera focused in there, I can go ahead and do the 3rd row. And so you do the 3rd row with the 2 that were from number 1 and the inside 2 here. So let me do one here so you can see what it looks like. Again, the entire rug is going to be square knots. Okay, so that's the first stitch of row number 3. I prefer to work fully across, so I'm going to continue row 2 and 3 and work down instead of doing sections like that. So I'm going to go for a few rows and turn back on the camera and show you what we have going on. I've been going for a little while here. It is super smooth, super fast. The only tip that I forgot to say earlier is these little clips here. When you get done with one, it is actually kind of handy to clip it there or clip it up and out of the way so that you have your next working cords handy. But other than that, it is going really good and should be done soon. Okay, when I started this project, I said to myself that I would go until I ran out of fabric on any of the lengths, and so I did. Right now we're sitting at 44 inches of rug, and we're going to go ahead and just pull out the rod and get our fringe going here. So at this point, just straighten out your fringe, and I'm going to take a quilting ruler and line it up with my first row of stitching, and I am going to make it to have 4-inch fringe. And so you could take a rotary cutter and go like this, but they're just not all really straight. So I'm just gonna do a section at a time and clip them off with scissors. Let's see what that looks like. Yeah, that'll look good. So that's a 4-inch fringe, and this is the other end, which is does still have some fabric, but I was starting to run out of some of the lengths. So I went ahead and ended, and I was really pleased that it's 44 inches. So I'm going to do the same thing, line it up and do 4-inch fringe here. Save all of this. This is golden for other projects for your rag rugs. But let me finish this up and I'll show you what we have. I love, love, love this rug. I am actually astounded at how easy it was and quick. It was actually even portable. I took it camping with us and hung it between a rope in some trees and was able to macrame. The one thing, there was a couple times that my pattern got off and I had to just catch myself and I have to tell you, I cannot find where those errors are. But do not worry, if your rhythm gets off, just correct it and keep on going, because I can promise you, you cannot find it. So at any time, if you have questions during this project, just comment down below. Check out our other videos, and as always, thank you for watching DIY on the House.